So this is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, and I made a pop-up book. Preface. For my daughter Mary, Jules Verne is considered the father of science fiction. His stories were written in the 1800s during a time when many inventions and scientific discoveries of today weren't conceived or known. This pop-up book is an adaptation of his original 1874 work because it includes scientific facts to update and clarify what is known today. The story remains the same. It is the author's view that science is ever evolving and changing, and even the details in this book will one day, like Jules Verne's original story details, be outdated and will need revision in the future. It is my hope that it will inspire future scientists and adventurers and imaginers to revise away. Our story begins with an expedition to search for a mysterious sea creature. This is a narwhal. What is a narwhal? Monodon monoceros. What do they look like? Males have horns that look like unicorn tusks. Females usually don't have them, and their bodies are mottled gray. Their bodies look like a sausage with round heads and no front beak. They have ridge on their backs instead of a fin, and their fins are short and blunt and curl upward. Males grow to 4.8 meters long and are slightly larger than females at 4.2 meters long. What is that horn on their heads? It looks like a unicorn horn. What do they use it for? For fighting? For eating? What is it? It's usually a tooth. It's actually a tooth, with millions of nerve endings inside of it. They use it to feel and taste. They actually have two teeth, but the male's tooth usually forms the tusk that looks like a unicorn horn. Some males grow two tusks, and some females, about 3%, grow a tusk. Where do they live? They live above the Arctic Circle, in the very cold freezing ocean waters with freezing ice. They migrate in the summer to coastal waters and fjords of Greenland and Canada so that they don't get trapped within the ice. These whales are most impacted by global climate change because they are adapted to live around the ice. How do they live? They don't like to be alone. They live in groups of 10 to 20 whales, and in the summer they will gather together in even larger groups that go into the thousands of whales to do their migrations. They like traveling together, swimming fast, and being near the surface of the water. Sometimes they like to float and leap out of the water or dive at the same time together. While we don't know why they do this, for them, it makes sense. They are some of the deepest diving whales at 1,500 meters who can hold their breaths a very long time, 25 minutes. They love eating cod, flatfish, shrimp, squid, and crab. They will dive into the deep waters when holding their breath to get their food off the seafloor. They use echolocation to help them find their food. To eat their food, they will suck their food like a vacuum into their mouths, but we do not know if they use their tusks to eat their food. Who are their predators? Polar bears, orcas, and sharks. They have also been hunted by the Inuit for their blubber, skin, and tusks for centuries. The vessel, called the Abraham Lincoln, departed from the Brooklyn Pier in New York. On board were the chief scientist, Dr. Aronnax, or Pierre Aronnax, consul, Dr. Aronnax's attendant, and Mr. Ned Land, the harpooner. They went on an expedition in search of a mysterious creature that we now know as the elusive narwhal. Dr. Aronnax, consul, and Ned Land have been shipwrecked after the Lincoln vessel sank. They were scared and worried. They saw green lights in the water and thought it could be the mysterious creature that sank the Lincoln. And then they saw something round in the water coming towards them, and green lights. What could it be? But it was hard, and it didn't feel like an animal. It was metal. This was strange indeed. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to work. So there's the little shipwreck vessel. And what do you think this could be? Certainly does not look like the narwhal we saw on the other page, does it? Might be the Nautilus. Okay. Dr. Aronnax, Consul, and Ned Land were invited aboard the Nautilus, the underwater vessel that found them. It was extraordinary. Dr. Aronnax was being taken to meet captain of the ship, Captain Nemo, in a table room with an unusual menu. Tonight's feast, the appetizer featured hawksbill turtle soup, sea anemone fruit preserve, fermented rhodamenius palmetto, which is seaweed. The entree featured fillet of turtle, ragu of dolphin's livers, surmullet with puff paste. The condiments were preserve of holothura, which is sea cucumber, milky cream of cetacea, North Sea sugar, and the beverage was pure water. Dr. Aronnax, being a man of science, was excited and impressed, and he had so many questions for Captain Nemo. Ned Land was not invited to this dinner. Ned Land, once aboard, was shown another area of the Nautilus. Captain Nemo told Dr. Aronnax that he and Ned Land were welcome aboard the Nautilus and they could go where they pleased on his vessel. But he had one rule. They could not leave, ever. Captain Nemo proceeded to show Dr. Aronnax why the Nautilus was the best place in the world to be, and better than the world above, the sea, and that they should prefer to be on the Nautilus. The Nautilus had a museum collection of many underwater treasures from around the world. Captain Nemo prided himself in the specimens he had collected. He invited Dr. Aronnax to explore and research his collection. Dr. Aronnax was very excited. Examining the collections, he saw that there was more to study on the Nautilus than he had ever seen before in his entire life, and he began to wonder if maybe Captain was right. Maybe the Nautilus is better than the world above the sea. But Ned Land has had different feelings about the Nautilus and Captain Nemo than Captain Nemo and than Dr. Aronnax. He is grateful for being saved by Captain Nemo, but he doesn't want to be a prisoner of the Nautilus. Because remember, the rule was they couldn't leave ever. And he begins to cause trouble. He begins asking more questions of the workers on Nautilus, and when they don't respond, he gets angry and frustrated. He throws things and yells, so he gets put in jail in the Nautilus until he can calm down and make a choice. Stay on the Nautilus or leave in the middle of the ocean. So he decides to stay for now. Captain Nemo wants to demonstrate the power of his great Nautilus to Dr. Aronnax. So he sinks a warship traveling in the sea. This kills all on board the ship. Dr. Aronnax begins to realize that Nemo isn't as kind as he says he is, after seeing how often he has put Ned in jail, and now sinking the warship. He decides that he wants to leave the Nautilus. And Captain Nemo begins to feel his new friends pulling away from him, and he becomes sad. So he begins to journey around the Atlantic, and his friends begin to worry that they will never escape the Nautilus. And Captain Nemo wanted to show Dr. Aronnax and Ned Land the underwater wonders of the world, hoping that he could make new friends. The Nautilus would follow the ocean currents of the Gulf Stream, the North Atlantic, South, North Pacific, Southern Indian Ocean, and Northern Indian Ocean. Then onward to the Japanese Kuroshibo, the Black River, the Straits of Malacca, North Pacific, Aleutian Islands, and into the Pacific. These are some of the wonders they saw. The Pacific Ocean. They saw a northern sea nettle, or a Chosora melanster. What do they look like? They have a bell that reaches nearly 30 centimeters or 12 inches wide in diameter. It can be colored white, dark purple to red. Their tentacles can stream out from behind them for up to 3 to 6 meters or up to 10 feet long. Its tentacles are not poisonous to humans, but it can create a sting that can cause an allergic reaction. These stinging cells are called nematocysts. They can create an irritating skin reaction and burning sensation. Where do they live? They can be found in the Pacific Ocean from Japan north to the Bering Sea. How do they live? They live near the surface of the ocean's waters by floating along ocean currents. What do they eat? They eat zooplankton as well as small crustaceans and other jellyfish. Who are their predators? Sea turtles, tuna, sunfish, butterfish, and spiny dogfish are their main predators. All 7 species of sea turtles include these species in their diets, however. The leatherback sea turtle loves this species. The jellyfish population was kept in check by the sea turtle population. However, due to the decrease in size of the sea turtles, the jellyfish population has increased in size. 2 interesting facts. Its scientific name, melanster, means black star, from the pattern on top of its bell. In ancient Japan, ninja warriors would scatter the poison from the tentacles from the species into the wind to irritate the eyes and nose of their enemies in battle. The poulps. The Humboldt squid, Dosidicus gigas. I think it's close pronounced. What do they look like? They weigh up to 50 kilograms or 110 pounds. And their mantle length, this is their mantle right here, is up to 2 meters or 6.56 feet. Their tentacles have between 100 to 200 suckers. Their beak tears through their prey to eat. They have well-developed eyes to see. They have photophores that allow them to change color and flash to communicate with each other. Their nickname by fishermen is the Red Devil because they change to a bright red color when caught and brought to the surface. Where do they live? They live in the eastern Pacific Ocean, from northern California to southern Chile. They have a small migration route within the Gulf of California, from the Baja Peninsula to the Guaymas Basin. It is also believed that they have a larger scale migration, but not much is known about this particular one. How do they live? They participate in a vertical geomigration. This means daily they spend their time in ocean waters greater than 250 meters deep, and at night go to the ocean surface. They do this to chase after their prey items. They also travel up to 100 kilometers every 3 to 4 days. They can live to between 1 and 2 years old. And what do they eat? Juveniles eat copepods and pelagic shrimp, but as it grows, its diet shifts to larger prey items. As an adult, it eats fish and other cephalopods like squid, octopus, and cuttlefish. When it makes its nightly migration to the surface, it mainly feeds on lanternfish, and many adults have been known to eat each other. Who are their predators? As juveniles, carnivorous fishes like tuna, squid, and gulls are their main predators. And once they reach adults, sharks, dorado, large tuna, swordfish, striped marlin, fur seals, sperm whales, and short-finned pilot whales become their main predators. If they feel threatened, they can squirt ink to confuse or distract a predator. They can also alter their coloration to blend in with their environment. Dr. Aronnax, Ned, and Consul are about to escape when Captain Nemo heads directly into a maelstrom. Why would Captain Nemo try to destroy his prized Nautilus? Why would he try to drown himself, his new friends, and his crew? Is this intentional? Dr. Aronnax, Ned, and Consul are released from the Nautilus within the maelstrom, much to their disbelief, and are washed ashore in Scandinavia. They are found by local fishermen and brought to their small fishing hut and saved. Captain Nemo, the Nautilus, and its crew are nowhere to be found. Uh-oh. The Nautilus and Captain Nemo are never to be seen again. Okay. Where is the Nautilus? Where is Nemo? It is a faithful narrative of this incredible expedition. In less than 10 months, I have crossed the 20,000 leagues in that submarine tour of the world, which has revealed many wonders. A quote from Ned Land. The end. And that is the story of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.